Good day, everyone. My name is Spencer Cado, and today I will share with you my report about Marxism. But before we proceed to the definition of Marxism, let us first know its proponents. The beginning of Marxist thought came about through Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the Communist Manifesto, during the late 19th century. Marxism was first publicly formulated in the 1848 pamphlet, The Communist Manifesto, which lays out the theory of class struggle and revolution. Moreover, Marxian economics focuses on the criticisms of capitalism, which Karl Marx wrote about in his 1867 book, Das Kapital. So what is Marxism? Marxism is a social, political, and economic theory which focuses on the struggle between capitalists and the working class. The theory, Marxism, is named after its proponent, Karl Marx. It encompasses Marxist class conflict theory and examines the effect of capitalism on labor, productivity, and economic development, and argues for a worker revolution to overturn capitalism in favor of communism. Marxism posits that the struggle between social classes, specifically between bourgeoisie and proletariat, defines economic relations in a capitalist economy. Marx's class theory portrays capitalism as one step in the historical progression of economic systems, and that it is driven by vast forces of history that play out through behavior and conflict among social classes. The capitalist society is made up of two classes: the bourgeoisie, or the business owners or the ruling class, who control the means of production, and the proletariat, or the working class, whose labor transforms raw commodities into valuable economic goods. Ordinary laborers who do not own the means of production, such as factories, have little power in the capitalist economic system. Meanwhile, business owners, or bourgeoisie, have an incentive to get the most work out of their laborers while paying them the lowest possible wages. The alienation and exploitation of the proletariat that are fundamental to capitalist relations would inevitably drive the working class to rebel against the bourgeoisie and seize control of the means of production. In other words, the proletariat will strive for a communist society that advocates a classless system in which all property and wealth are communally owned. To sum it up, social classes and class struggle would no longer exist. But groundwork for communism is more likely unreachable, for there's never actually been a purely communist state that completely eliminated personal property, money, and class systems. Actually, China, Soviet Union, and Cuba tried to implement a communist government, but never really maintained it. So how is Marxism applied as a literary theory? In literary theory, a Marxist interpretation reads the text as an expression of contemporary class struggle. Literature is not simply a matter of personal expression or taste. It somehow relates to the social and political conditions of the time. A premise of Marxist criticism is that literature can be viewed as ideological, and that it can be analyzed in terms of base or superstructure model. Marx called the economic conditions of life the base or infrastructure. The base includes everything from technology and raw materials to the social organization of the workplace. This economic base has a powerful effect on the superstructure, Marx's term for society, culture, and the world of ideas. Literature, for Marx, belongs to the superstructure, along with the law, politics, etc. The challenge, then, is to see how it is influenced by the economic base. So, how or what is the focus of Marxist critics in literature? Well, they focus on one, oppressive situations that exist in literature as a means of seeing historical and economic forces at work. So any signs of oppression is focused that is seen in literature will be focused on by critics. Second, focus for ideas that spark a revolutionary moment within a nation, specifically for the proletariat to overcome the bourgeoisie. So critics will also look at the revolution that is led by proletariat leaders that would overcome the business of the ruling class or the bourgeoisie. Third, highlight elements of society most affected by such oppression, leading to action, revolution, and social change. This is somehow the same with ideas 1 and 2. Next, number fourth, they seek to uncover use of symbols, imagery, and metaphor in texts, and any lurking realities associated within them. So this main Marxism can also be applied in literary texts like poems and dramas. Fifth, lastly, they identify the author's worldview, which helps in understanding the government established at the time the writer lived and wrote. So critics don't only look at the content of the literary piece, but they also look at the background of the author of the literary text. So that is all for my report. The next presenter will focus on the application of Marxist theory in literature.